Marcus stepped through the shimmering archway of the Intergalactic Academy of Intimate Arts, his heart pounding like a distant drumbeat. The crystalline halls radiated an otherworldly glow that both intimidated and excited him. Today marked the start of a journey into the uncharted realms of alien love language, a discipline that promised to unlock secrets of passion beyond terrestrial confines. "Welcome, Marcus," intoned a voice both mellifluous and commanding as he entered the grand lecture hall. Professor Turan, an enigmatic instructor with luminescent, shifting skin and eyes that held centuries of cosmic wisdom, awaited him at the center of a semicircular dais. "I trust you're prepared to explore desires that defy conventional understanding?" Marcus swallowed hard before replying, "I have always believed that human passion carries its own unique spark. I want to learn how our love can merge with the mysteries of the universe." His tone was a blend of determination and a hint of vulnerability. Professor Turan's tendrils swayed gently. "Then let us begin with the first lesson, the language of touch. In our species, every caress transmits a syllable of emotion. Today you shall experience the art of tactile conversation firsthand." The professor's voice resonated around the hall, as if the very walls were imbued with meaning. A murmur of anticipation passed through the gathered students, a melange of various beings whose forms defied simple description. Marcus's eyes met those of a silver-skinned fellow student nearby, who offered an encouraging nod. The professor extended a delicate bioluminescent appendage toward Marcus. "May I guide you?" came the soft query. "Please," Marcus responded, his voice low and earnest. As the professor's hand brushed against his, Marcus felt a surge of unfamiliar energy current of sensation that rippled across his skin and deep within his core. "Do you feel it?" Professor Turan inquired, their tone equal parts instruction and intimate invitation. "That, Marcus, is the first word of our shared lexicon, a word spoken in the language of energy and desire." Marcus's eyes widened. "It's as though every nerve in my body is awakening to a new form of communication," he said, his voice trembling with both wonder and a daring curiosity. "Indeed," the professor replied, guiding his hand to mimic the motion. "Now, respond. Let your touch be the punctuation in this dialogue." Their conversation flowed effortlessly, a series of measured questions and answers, a duet where every spoken syllable was matched by a physical gesture. "How does this sensation speak to you?" Professor Turan asked as they slowly traced patterns along Marcus's forearm. "It speaks of unity," Marcus murmured, "of connections that transcend the limitations of our human form." His words carried a quiet fervor, a promise of discovery that transcended the ordinary. The room filled with a palpable tensione, shared understanding that intimacy, in its purest form, was a universal truth. "Your response is most encouraging," said the professor. "In time, you shall learn that every touch can unveil mysteries. Every embrace can bridge galaxies of experience." Marcus nodded, absorbing each instruction. "I never imagined that learning could feel so alive," he said, a spark of exhilaration threading his tone. Professor Turan smiled in a way that suggested secrets known only to the cosmos. "Today is but the first step. The lessons ahead will challenge you, will expand the very notion of intimacy. Prepare yourself, for we are about to embark on an adventure where language is not confined to words, but expressed in every caress, every shared heartbeat." As the lecture concluded, the interplay of dialogue and touch left Marcus both exhilarated and contemplative. He realized that his journey was not merely academic, it was a voyage into the depths of desire, the merging of human passion with alien artistry. With a final exchange of encouraging words and a promise of further, more intricate lessons, Marcus stepped out of the hall, his mind alight with anticipation for the lessons yet to come. The chamber's lights dimmed to a soft violet hue, and the cool hum of ambient energy filled the space as Professor Turan introduced the next phase of the lesson. Marcus and his newfound partner Doriana, confident human with a gentle smile and a keen curiosity, stepped forward among an assembly of beings whose forms pulsed with otherworldly vibrance. "Today," the professor began, voice resonating like a symphony of interwoven notes, "we delve into the language of sound and resonance. Our voices are more than mere instruments. They are conduits of desire, capable of transcending species and reaching into the depths of one's soul." The professor's luminous eyes surveyed the class, their tone both challenging and inviting. Marcus exchanged a glance with Dorian, whose eyes sparkled with anticipation. "Professor Tsaran," Marcus interjected, his tone steady yet eager. "How can our simple human voices match the intricate harmonies of your species?" A slow, knowing smile curved the professor's features. "A fine question, Marcus. Your voices are imbued with the raw essence of your human passion. Today, I will show you how to modulate that essence into a symphony that speaks universally." The professor gestured toward an arrangement of crystalline instruments placed at the center of the chamber. "These devices, attuned to subtle vibrations, will amplify your natural tones and reveal the hidden notes of your desire. Dorian, would you kindly join Marcus at the podium?" Dorian nodded, stepping closer to Marcus. "I've always believed that there's poetry in every word we speak," he remarked softly, his voice laced with genuine admiration. "Let's discover what verses our hearts can compose together." Professor Tehran's tendrils brushed lightly along the control panel, activating a gentle cascade of iridescent light that danced across the crystalline surfaces. "Begin by speaking aloud a phrase that resonates with you, a phrase that defines your longing." The professor's voice was both a command and a caress. Marcus's chest tightened with anticipation. He hesitated for a heartbeat before uttering, "I seek unity beyond the stars." His words reverberated through the chamber, mingling with the delicate hum of the instruments. Almost immediately, the crystals pulsed in response, their glow intensifying, as if acknowledging the sincerity of his declaration. "Excellent," the professor praised. "Now, Dorian, echo those sentiments, but allow your tone to flow with an undercurrent of intimacy." Dorian's eyes met Marcus's as he responded, "In every heartbeat, I feel the pulse of the cosmos. Our love is the bridge between worlds." His voice, rich and steady, resonated deeply, causing ripples of sound that enveloped both men in a shared embrace of vibrational energy. The interplay of their voices created a tapestry of sound that defied the constraints of language. Professor Tsran moved gracefully among them, adjusting the settings on the crystalline apparatus. "Notice how your individual expressions merge, forming a duet that transcends your own beings. Every inflection, every pause, carries meaning." Marcus's voice grew bolder as he engaged in the unfolding dialogue. "I feel as if I am not merely speaking, but conversing with the universe itself," he said, his tone blending wonder with fervor. "Precisely," the professor replied. "Your vocal expressions are akin to touch, each syllable a caress, each inflection an embrace. The resonance you create binds you together, forging a language that is uniquely yours and infinitely expansive." Dorian's gaze softened. "This connection, it's as if our voices are interlacing our very essences. I never imagined that speaking could feel so intimately physical." A ripple of approval passed through the class as the professors circled back to their duo. "Remember, intimacy is not confined to physical touch alone. It is woven into the fabric of your existence. Through dialogue, both spoken and silent, you express the deepest parts of yourselves." The lesson continued with a series of intricate vocal exercises. Marcus and Dorian alternated phrases, their voices intermingling in spontaneous bursts of emotion and resonance. Their dialogue evolved into an artful interplay, punctuated by whispered confidences and bold declarations. Each exchange deepened the connection not only between them, but also with the enigmatic force that permeated the room. "Let your voices lead you," urged Professor Tsran as the session drew to a close. "For in every word lies the promise of discovery. In every pause, the potential for new beginnings." As the lights gently brightened, Marcus and Dorian lingered near the crystalline instruments, their eyes reflecting both the shared wonder of the experience and a burgeoning desire to explore further. Their voices, once simple and solitary, had become a harmonious duotone that would carry them on an extraordinary journey of love and intimacy across the cosmos. The next lesson brought Marcus and Dorian into a vast chamber, with a floor inscribed by shifting, luminous glyphs. The room pulsed with subtle energy as if alive, and at its center, a circular platform beckoned the students to engage in a dialogue of movement. Professor Tsaran's voice resonated. "Today, you shall explore the language of Moshona dance, where every gesture is a word, and every step, a sentence." Marcus glanced at Dorian, the anticipation in his eyes unmistakable. How exactly do we translate our movements into dialogue? He asked, voice steady yet imbued with wonder. The professor's tendrils gently swayed as they responded. Your bodies are instruments, tuned by emotion and desire. In this session, you will communicate without uttering a single syllable only. The cadence of your actions shall speak. Let your movements become the script of intimacy. Dorian stepped forward, a confident smile playing on his lips. I believe our hearts already know the rhythm. Show us the way, Professor. A low hum filled the chamber, and the floor's glyphs began to shimmer in response to the professor's presence. Marcus, Dorian, come together at the platform, instructed Saran. Synchronize your steps, your glances, your subtle touch. Let your movements converse. As they approached, Marcus remarked softly, I've never felt this kind of connection before, dialogue where words are replaced by every graceful shift of our bodies. Dorian replied, It's as though we're painting our own story with every step. I'm ready to write this chapter with you. The professor's voice lowered. Begin with a simple sequence. Extend your hand to greet the other, then slowly circle, as if drawing the lines of a cosmic embrace. Marcus reached out, his hand trembling slightly as it met Dorian's. Their fingers intertwined briefly, an electric pulse passing between them that matched the radiant rhythm of the chamber. Do you feel that spark? Marcus asked, his tone both inquisitive and tender. More than a spark, it's like a wave of energy, Dorian replied, his voice hushed with awe. Every movement speaks volumes. With each careful, deliberate step, the duo moved in synchrony. Their bodies leaned, rotated, and met in a delicate interplay of contact and separation. Now, Professor Tsaran intoned, transform this simple gesture into a dialogue of passion. Let your bodies ask questions and answer them in return. Marcus paused, then softly said as he shifted closer, I wonder if our steps can whisper secrets of the universe. Dorian's smile deepened as he replied, Then let our dance be an exploration, a journey into each other's inner cosmos. Encouraged by the professor's approving nod, Marcus and Dorian began to experiment with their rhythm. Their movements evolved from slow, measured steps to a more intricate sequence. Now mirror my motion, Marcus instructed playfully, his voice mingling desire with curiosity as he initiated a sweeping gesture. Dorian followed suit, the synchronicity of their movements generating a quiet, almost tangible energy between them. Professor Tsaran circled the platform, offering soft guidance. Excellent, Marcus. Widen your gesture, imagine drawing the arc of a galaxy. Dorian, let your response be as fluid as a comet's tail. The professor's words resonated as a duet of instruction and intimacy. Your emotions, when entwined, tell a story that defies spoken language, observed Marcus, his tone filled with an earnest excitement. Dorian, breathing steadily as he matched Marcus's pace, added, Every move is an invitation, a promise that we are exploring a connection that transcends our very beings. The chamber's light flickered in response to their energy, and the luminous glyphs beneath their feet pulsed with increasing intensity. Now, Professor Tran announced, combine your movements with a gentle embracium moment where your forms coalesce as one. Marcus hesitated only for a fraction of a second before drawing Dorian close. Their bodies met in a tender collision, hands roaming to trace the outlines of each other, as if discovering new constellations. I feel every gesture speak to me, Marcus murmured, his voice soft yet resolute. This is our dialogia, silent conversation of passion. Dorian's reply was equally intimate. In this moment, our bodies compose a verse of intimacy that neither language nor time can capture. Their synchronized dance deepened, each motion a carefully choreographed step in a narrative of desire, merging human warmth with the professor's cosmic teachings. As the lesson drew to a close, Professor Tsaran's final words echoed in the charged air. Remember, the language of motion is as infinite as the stars above. Cherish each step, for it is the prelude to endless discovery. Marcus and Dorian slowly disentangled their intertwined forms, eyes locked in a promise of more to come. The kinetic conversation had left them both exhilarated and reflective, a shared prelude to a love that was as boundless as the universe itself. Marcus stepped into a chamber awash with ever-shifting hues of blue, magenta, and emerald, a living canvas where light and color danced like sentient entities. The atmosphere pulsed with an energy that seemed to paint emotions across the walls. Professor Tsaran's voice, warm and resonant, filled the space. Today, you shall discover that intimacy is not only felt and heard, but seen. Let the spectrum of colors be your guide. Marcus exchanged a look with Dorian, whose eyes shimmered with curiosity. Professor, how do these colors translate into our desires? Marcus inquired, his voice steady yet eager. Saran's tendrils moved gracefully, orchestrating the radiant lights. Each hue holds a language of its own. Observe, the deep crimson signals passion, while the cool blue evokes trust and serenity. Now, express what you feel using these colors as your vocabulary. Before long, another student stepped forward, a tall, striking man named Elias, whose presence lent an added intensity to the moment. Marcus, Dorian, shall we try a duet of colors? Elias proposed, his tone mingling warmth with a hint of playful challenge. Marcus smiled. I'd like that. Let us blend our visions. Begin with a simple display, instructed the professor. Marcus, you channel the vibrant fire of desire. Dorian, express the cool calm of yearning. Let Elias interweave these with a spectrum of his own making. Marcus closed his eyes and focused, allowing his inner emotions to merge with the room's luminous energy. When he spoke, his words were tinted in vibrant scarlet. I feel the heat of passion igniting every fiber of my being. His declaration sparked a radiant burst of red that cascaded along the chamber's walls. Dorian stepped forward, his voice soft yet resolute, and I sensed the cool embrace of connection, a soothing balm that tempers the fire with understanding. As he spoke, waves of serene blue unfurled around him, interlacing with Marcus's red in a delicate ballet of light. Elias, with an amused glint in his eye, added, let our colors converge, and blue do not compete, but converge into a majestic purple of unity. His tone was deliberate, each word emphasizing the shared journey they were embarking on. A shimmering cascade of violet spread out, bridging the gap between the vivid scarlet and calm blue. Excellent, the professor remarked, his voice imbued with a cosmic pride. Now, speak to one another using these hues. Marcus, ask Elias what his color reveals. Marcus turned to Elias and said, Elias, your violet speaks of transformation and mystery. What does it mean to you? Elias met Marcus's gaze, replying in a measured tone. It tells me that our individual flames can merge to form something transcendent, a love that is both familiar and yet uncharted. The chamber's light pulsed in affirmation, the colors deepening with every shared word. Dorian joined in, his voice gentle. I see our colors as the dialogue of our souls, each tone a secret message waiting to be discovered. His words prompted the professor to add, indeed, let every conversation be a palette of emotions, every glance a brushstroke on the canvas of intimacy. As the lesson unfolded, the trio engaged in a vivid dialogue of hues. Marcus's passionate declarations were met with Elias's reflective insights and Dorian's tender interjections. Your red speaks of fierce ambition, Elias observed one moment, and my blue is an invitation to a shared dream, Marcus responded. Then let our colors not merely coexist, but create a living masterpiece. Throughout the session, the chamber became a stage for their luminous exchange. The interplay of red, blue, and violet intensified, swirling in patterns that mirrored the deepening connection between the men. Each dialogue was punctuated by bursts of color that expressed what words alone could not capture. Professor Saran circled them, softly guiding their interactions. Every shade, every transition is a step towards understanding the universal language of intimacy. Today, you have spoken not only with your voices, but with your very essence. In a final collective act, Marcus, Dorian, and Elias stood side by side. Their combined colors coalesced into a radiant spectrum that filled the chamber with a brilliance that transcended physical form. Together we have painted our story a living testament to the boundless possibilities of love across galaxies, Marcus said, his voice imbued with wonder and conviction. Let this light remind us that every color, every emotion is a vital note in the symphony of our existence, Dorian added, his tone warm and resolute. Elias concluded, in our unity, we have discovered a language that is as eternal as the stars. As the luminous display gradually faded into a gentle afterglow, the professor's parting words echoed in their hearts. Cherish this communion of color and spirit, for it is the precursor to an intimacy that knows no bounds. In a softly lit chamber, imbued with a warm amber glow, the air carried a medley of exotic aromas that seemed to dance in slow, deliberate rhythms. Professor Tsaron's voice resonated throughout the space. Today, we explore the silent dialogue of scent, a language that speaks to the depths of memory, desire, and connection. Each aroma you encounter is a note in the symphony of your inner being. Marcus, with a blend of resolve and wonder, exchanged a glance with Dorian, while a new student, Aiden, stepped forward with quiet determination. "Professor," Marcus inquired, "how do we begin to decode these invisible messages?" His tone was measured, yet laced with anticipation. Tsaron's tendrils shifted gracefully as they replied, "Every living being emits a unique bouquet signature of its soul. Today, you will sample carefully prepared essences extracted from the flora of distant galaxies. These fragrances are designed to awaken sensations and reveal truths that words cannot capture." The professor gestured toward an array of crystalline vials, each filled with swirling, luminescent mists. Aiden moved closer, eyes alight with curiosity. "Let us begin then. Marcus, Dorian joined me in discovering what our senses can reveal about us." Dorian reached for a vial emitting a subtle, spicy fragrance and remarked softly, "This aroma is both vibrant and calming, a blend that seems to evoke passion intertwined with serenity." He inhaled deeply, as if drawing in not only the scent but the emotion behind it. Marcus nodded in agreement. "It stirs something deep within me, a sense of longing and untold stories. I feel as though it speaks of journeys yet to be taken and secrets waiting to be shared." Professor Tsaron circled the trio, adding, "Now, describe to me the language your own essence conveys when touched by these aromas. Marcus, tell us what you perceive in your reflection." Marcus closed his eyes, letting the scents envelope him. "I detect hints of smoky embers, underscored by the wild tang of untamed nature," he said softly. "It tells me that my essence carries the fire of independence, yet it yearns for the warmth of connection." Aiden interjected with a thoughtful tone, "And do you feel that this mixture holds a message of unity? I sense that your aroma, Marcus, has absorbed the energy of your experiences, a melody of strength and vulnerability." Dorian, with his customary gentle clarity, added, "Indeed, our fragrances seem to merge into an olfactory tapestry. Each inhalation feels like a verse in a conversation that transcends spoken language." Encouraged by the unfolding dialogue, Professor Tsaron instructed, "Now, I invite you to experiment. Combine your essences, let the scents mingle, and allow your inner selves to converse through aroma." "Marcus, would you care to blend your essence with Aiden's?" Marcus hesitated only for a moment before reaching toward Aiden's vial. "May I?" he asked, his voice low and earnest. Aiden offered a small, encouraging smile. "By all means, Marcus. Let our scents unite and speak our truth." With deliberate care, the two uncorked their vials, releasing their essences into the chamber's ambient air. As the fragrances intermingled, Marcus observed, "I feel a surge of warmth emerging that creates an entirely new note, rich with promise." Aiden's voice softened in reply. "It is as if our individual stories have blended into a single harmonious narrativa dialogue of aromas that whispers of both past journeys and future possibilities." Marcus, emboldened by the shared moment, turned to Aiden and added, "Tell me, do you perceive a note of longing within your own scent?" Aiden paused before answering, "Yes, there is an undercurrent of quiet intensity and echo of untold desires and hidden hopes. It resonates deeply, urging me toward connection." Dorian observed the exchange with a calm smile. "The beauty of scented synesthesia," he mused, "lies in its ability to reveal our innermost layers. Our aromas, when combined, speak a language that is both intimate and transcendent." Professor Tsaron's voice then rose gently above the murmurs. "Listen closely to the silent conversation that now fills the chamber. Every nuance, every subtle shift in fragrance, is a word in your shared dialogue. Embrace this experience as a pathway to understanding and uniting your inner selves." In the gentle interplay of aromas and words, Marcus, Aiden, and Dorian found themselves immersed in an exchange that transcended physical boundaries. "Our combined scent," Marcus observed with quiet conviction, "tells me that while we come from different journeys, our desires converge into a harmonious blend, a testament to the beauty of shared intimacy." Aiden echoed his sentiments, saying, "Together, We have composed an aromatic sonata narrative that speaks without words and listens with every sense, Dorian concluded. May this fragrant conversation serve as a reminder that true connection is sensed beyond the surface of communion that bridges galaxies and unites hearts. As the lesson drew to a close, Professor Tsaran offered a final reflection. Cherish this art of scented synesthesia, for it is a language of intimacy that knows no bounds. Let it guide you as you continue your cosmic journey of discovery and love. In that chamber of light and aroma, the trio's shared exploration of scent wove an unspoken narrative, a promise of further adventures in the endless universe of love and desire. The tasting chamber glowed with a warm amber radiance, its walls adorned with intricate patterns reminiscent of distant nebulae. Suspended before the students were crystalline orbs, each containing an otherworldly elixir that promised to evoke memories and desires through its flavor. Professor Tsaran's resonant voice filled the space. Today, you will discover that taste is a language, a dialogue of sensation and soul. Allow these flavors to speak to you, for they are the notes of your inner symphony. Marcus stepped forward, his gaze steady yet full of anticipation as he approached the orb labeled Celestial Nectar. Beside him, Dorian's eyes mirrored his eagerness. Professor, Marcus inquired softly, how can the taste carry the weight of our emotions? What message do these elixirs hold for us? Professor Tsaran's tendrils shimmered as they moved gracefully. Every flavor is a syllable in the grand lexicon of intimacy. Taste the sweetness that recalls the gentle kiss of a star's glow, the tang that hints at cosmic mysteries, and the richness of ancient celestial vintages. Let these sensations unveil what words cannot express. The professor gestured toward the floating dish. Marcus, please begin with Celestial Nectar. Marcus accepted the orb with deliberate care, bringing it slowly to his lips. As the elixir touched his tongue, his eyes closed momentarily. I feel a delicate burst of fusion of sweet honeyed warmth with a subtle spice that tingles like the first light of dawn on an alien horizon, he murmured, his voice blending wonder and intimacy. He turned to Dorian, adding, Tell me, Dorian, what does your taste reveal about you? Dorian's smile deepened as he picked up his own orb. Mine is a layered melodia, bold note of passion intertwined with a cool undercurrent of longing. It is as if this flavor maps the contours of my heart, evoking both strength and vulnerability, he replied, his tone rich with introspection. It speaks of the yearning for connection, much like the pull of gravity between two celestial bodies. Elias, who had been quietly observing from the side, joined in with a playful lilt. And what of my dish? He asked, holding up an orb that radiated a lively, almost effervescent glow. This elixir carries hints of bittersweet citrus and the warmth of a distant sun, reminding me that every encounter is a catalyst for transformation. Marcus nodded appreciatively. Elias, your flavor sings of uncharted adventures, a promise that every taste is a step toward greater discovery. Professor Tsaran circled the group, his voice imbued with cosmic pride. Taste is not merely a physical sensation. It is a conversation between your inner self and the universe. Marcus, do you detect a note of longing within your elixir? Marcus paused, considering the swirling sensations on his tongue. Yes, I sense a whisper of unspoken dreams, a bittersweet echo that speaks of both past journeys and the promise of future unions, he confessed. Dorian, does your flavor mirror my longing, or does it unfold a different chapter of your essence? Dorian's eyes sparkled with quiet passion. My flavor is a dialogue of contrasts. It celebrates the fierce blaze of desire, while inviting tenderness and introspection. It tells me that true passion embraces every shade of emotion. Aiden, his voice soft but deliberate, added, Together, our tastes create a symphony, a union of flavors that resonates like a cosmic love song, uniting our individual melodies into a harmonious whole. Marcus's voice grew husky with emotion as he leaned closer to Dorian. Dorian, every sip feels as if it writes a verse in our shared epic, a promise that our union is as ancient and boundless as the stars. Dorian's response was equally intimate. Marcus, your words are as sweet as the nectar we taste. They remind me that our connection transcends the physical, uniting our hearts in a language older than time. Let each flavor be a secret we share, a promise of the passion that binds us. Professor Tsaran's voice softened, blending with the ambient hum of the chamber. Remember, my students, that every flavor is a key door to deeper understanding. Embrace these tastes as the whispers of the cosmos, inviting you to merge your distinct essences into one radiant symphony. The dialogue continued as the trio exchanged impressions with growing fervor. Marcus, savoring another orb, whispered, "This taste is the spark of unity, a vibrant reminder that every moment we share is an exploration of our deepest selves." Dorian replied, "Indeed, every flavor is a memory in the making, a delicate conversation between our souls and the universe's eternal embrace." In that luminous hall of flavors, Marcus, Dorian, and their companions found themselves immersed in a dialogue of taste that transcended words, a silent yet profound communion that deepened their intimacy and illuminated the path to a love that spanned galaxies. The lesson that morning led Marcus, Dorian, Elias, and Aidan into a vast, domed atrium where ambient light shimmered like a field of distant stars. The chamber had been transformed into a multi-sensory nexus, where all the lessons of touch, sound, motion, color, scent, and taste converged. Professor Tsuran's voice reverberated across the expanse, warm and authoritative. "Today, we unite every language you have learned. In this final exercise, you will merge your individual expressions into a single, harmonious dialogue of love and intimacy. Let your bodies, voices, and souls synchronize in a symphony that transcends words." Marcus, standing at the center with his eyes alight with determination, stepped forward. "Professor," he began, his tone steady and passionate, "we have explored the nuances of each sense, but how do we bind them into one coherent expression?" A low chuckle emanated from Tsuran. "By embracing the truth that every sensation, every movement, every sound, and every color is but a facet of your inner light. Today, you will create an orchestra of unity, each of you contributing your distinct note to a collective masterpiece." Dorian replied, "Let our actions speak, Marcus. Our combined energy is greater than the sum of its parts." His voice mingled with the ambient hum as he extended his hand toward Marcus. Elias, his eyes reflecting a spark of enthusiasm, added, "We must not merely display our individual gifts, but allow them to entwine. Think of it as a cosmic dance where every gesture and every tone writes the script of our shared destiny." Aidan, ever the thoughtful observer, nodded. "We are all threads in this celestial tapestry. Our voices, our touches, our colors, and our flavors come together to form an inseparable bond." The professor motioned them to form a circle. "Begin by revisiting the language of touch. Marcus, lead us. Your hand gestures shall be the opening statement of this union." Marcus stepped into the center of the circle and extended his hands slowly outward. "Let my touch be the verse that welcomes our shared journey," he said softly. His fingertips grazed Dorian's shoulder as if drawing invisible constellations in the air. Dorian responded by lowering his voice, "And may my hands echo your sentiment, merging our energies as if we were two parts of the same star." Their exchange of gentle caresses sent ripples of luminous energy cascading across the chamber floor, each touch punctuating the silent promise of unity. As the sensation of touch receded into the background, Professor Tsuran's voice guided them further. "Now, let your voices sing the tale of this convergence. Speak as one, yet allow your words to intertwine naturally." Marcus, his tone fervent yet tender, said, "I feel that every beat of my heart is resonating with yours. Our voices join in a duet that speaks of hope, strength, and boundless possibility." Dorian, matching his cadence, replied, "In each word, I hear the echo of our shared dream-sod declaration that no distance, no difference, can divide what our souls have conspired to create." Elias, inspired, interjected, "Together, our voices are like the harmonies of a distant nebulous note, a testament to the love that we nurture in the vastness of existence." Aidan, his voice gentle yet profound, added, "Every syllable we share builds a bridge between our hearts, uniting us as one in this cosmic celebration of intimacy." The room seemed to vibrate with the synergy of their combined voices. A cascade of colors began to fill the dome as if summoned by their collective dialogue. Shifting hues of red, blue, and violet merged, their interplay mimicking the fluid dance of their emotions. "Our colors now sing together," Marcus observed, his tone filled with quiet awe. "They illustrate our passion, our longing, and the gentle understanding that our union is written in the language of the universe. Dorian smiled, his eyes never leaving Marcus's. Our shared spectrum is proof that when we come together, we create something unique, a living artwork that celebrates the very essence of who we are. The professor, moving silently among them, then spoke, "Allow your senses to merge further. Integrate the flavors of your experiences with the scents that recall distant memories. Let every element of your being communicate in perfect unison." Marcus reached out to Aiden, who had been watching with a quiet intensity. "Aiden, share with us how the taste of your journey complements our shared narrative." Aiden's voice was soft, yet every word carried conviction. "The flavor I experience is both bold and subtle, a reminder that every shared moment, every mingled aroma, contributes to a greater story. Together our taste is a symphony that lingers on the tongue of time." Elias then spoke up, his tone resonant. "In this grand fusion, our dialogue becomes more than just words or sensations. It becomes a declaration, a united expression of love that defies space and time." As the chamber's multi-sensory display reached its zenith, Marcus concluded, "Our journey has been one of discovery, of learning that every sense can express our deepest truths. Today, in this unified moment, we have created a language that only we can speak, a language that will guide us across the cosmos." Professor Tehran's final words filled the dome like a benediction. "Remember the synthesis. Let it be the cornerstone of your future explorations. In unity, you have discovered the boundless potential of love, and in that potential lies the power to transform worlds." In the radiant glow of that transcendent hour, the men, bound by shared dialogue, touch, and luminous expression, felt the enduring strength of their union. Their voices, their bodies, and their very souls had intertwined, crafting a testament to the beauty of collaborative passion and the infinite language of the cosmos. In a secluded chamber deep within the academy, the ambient glow of starlight and pulsating nebular hues set the stage for the final Asona celebration of every language of intimacy mastered over the course of their journey. The room was transformed into a sanctuary where touch, sound, motion, color, scent, and taste melded into one transcendent experience. At its center, Professor Tehran stood, tendrils gently undulating, as if in quiet anticipation. "Today, you shall experience the ultimate synthesis of all that you have learned," Tehran intoned, his voice both tender and commanding. "Every lesson, every whisper of sensation, will converge into a single cosmic embrace. Allow your bodies, your hearts, and your souls to merge in the language of unity." Marcus stepped forward, his eyes alight with determination and quiet passion. "Professor, these lessons have unveiled parts of me I never knew existed," he said, his tone earnest yet resonant. "I believe our time has come to write our final verse in this universal dialogue." Dorian moved closer, his hand finding Marcus's with a warmth that spoke of deep connection. "Marcus," he replied softly, "our journey has been a mosaic of shared discoveries, each touch, every sound, and every burst of color leading us here. Let us now express that unity in a way that transcends the limitations of words." Elias and Aiden, their faces reflecting the glow of anticipation, joined the circle. "This moment," Elias declared, "is not simply another lesson, it is the celebration of our collective spirit and the power of love that bridges worlds." Aiden added, "Every sensation we've encountered has led us to this singular embrace, where our individual voices become one harmonious chorus." With a graceful nod, Professor Tehran gestured for Marcus and Dorian to approach the center of the chamber. "Begin by drawing upon the language of touch. Marcus, let your fingertips trace the contours of passion on Dorian's skein, a dialogue that speaks of galaxies unfolding with each caress." Slowly, Marcus extended his hand, his fingers gliding gently over Dorian's shoulder, as if mapping out constellations of desire. "Your touch tells a story," Dorian murmured, his voice low and intimate. "It speaks of the warmth of distant suns and the quiet intensity of nebular winds." Marcus responded, his tone husky with emotion. "Every caress ignites within me the pulse of 1,000 stars, uniting us in this timeless moment." Their hands communicated a silent promise, a shared language that needed no translation. Professor Tehran's mellifluous voice then rose, inviting them to merge the languages of sound and color. Let your voices become the notes that complete this cosmic symphony. Speak to each other, intertwining your words with the brilliant hues that surround you. Marcus, his gaze fixed on Dorian, said, "In the light of your eyes, I see every shade of passion. Let our voices be the melody that binds our souls." Dorian answered, his tone soft yet insistent. "Marcus, every syllable you utter harmonizes with the rhythm of my heart. In our union I hear the chorus of the cosmos itself." Their dialogue, interspersed with laughter and tender whispers, resonated with a shifting palette around theme a vivid dance of reds, blues, and violets that symbolized their entwined fates. As the final exercise began, the aromas of rare alien blossoms and the flavors of celestial nectars mingled in the air. "Now, let your tastes and scents converge," instructed Ciron. "Allow every inhalation and every flavor to represent the merging of your essences." Leaning in, Marcus whispered, "I taste the sweetness of our shared journey. Dorian, a flavor that lingers like the promise of a new dawn." Dorian replied, "And I savor the spice of your passion. Each note a memory of every moment we have shared." Their voices blended with the heady scents and rich flavors, composing a sonnet of desire and unity that transcended the physical. In that radiant chamber, every sense became a verse in their final dialogue. The interplay of touch, sound, color, scent, and taste created a palpable energy that wove the students together, forming a tapestry of interstellar intimacy. Marcus and Dorian, along with Elias and Aidan, felt their individual identities dissolve into a shared cosmic pulsy union that defied the boundaries of time and space. In a final, heartfelt exchange, Marcus spoke, "Our journey has shown us that every language of intimacy is a testament to our collective spirit. Today we embrace not just with our bodies, but with our very souls." Dorian, his eyes reflecting the shimmering light, replied, "Yes, let this cosmic embrace be our legacy, a beacon of hope and love that will guide us and those who come after us." Elias and Aidan echoed their sentiments, their voices a harmonious affirmation of unity and shared destiny. Professor Ciron's closing words filled the chamber like a benediction. "May this cosmic embrace serve as a reminder that in unity we discover the boundless potential of our hearts. Carry this love with you into the endless expanse, and let it illuminate the galaxies." In that transcendent moment, as the final echoes of their combined dialogue mingled with the cosmic lights, the students experienced a union that went beyond the confines of the physical realm, a timeless celebration of love, desire, and the infinite language of connection. Their journey had reached its zenith, and in their cosmic embrace, they found a love that would forever ripple across the stars.